Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean. Here's some of the top stories we have for you tonight. A man is killed on St. Thomas. A follow-up on the double murder on St. Croix. And police tell you how to have a safe carnival. These stories and more are up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, the Virgin Islands has once again become a killing ground for violence. We start with a man who was gunned down last night in the area of Paul M. Pearson Gardens housing community on St. Thomas. News Channel 8's Lee Carl reports.
There was a shooting and a wounding of a man at Pearson Gardens, and the police chief, Rodney Croyd, filled us in with the details on that.
Good morning again. I just want to make sure this has nothing to do with Carnival, so I just want to make sure we're on the same page with this. Unfortunately, last night at approximately 9:10 p.m., we were notified of a shooting in the Paul M. Pearson Garden area. Upon arrival, the victim, one Patrick Smith of Canton Knolls, 22 years of age, was observed in the area of the basketball court. Emergency medical technicians responded and transported Mr. Smith to the Snyder Regional Medical Center, where he later succumbed to his injuries. A short time after the initial call, an individual walked into the Snyder Regional Medical Center and reported that he was shot in the left pinky toe in the area of Paul M. Pearson Garden. This incident, along with the initial call, were in fact related. This individual was shot by a stray bullet in his pinky toe. We are continuing the investigation into this matter. We are still interviewing witnesses. We are asking the community, anyone in the Paul M. Pearson Garden area or in the immediate area who may have seen someone running either on foot or getting into a car and leaving the area, to please notify Sergeant Best or the Major Crimes Unit at 642-8449, 715-5534 or 715-5544. Of course, you can call 911 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. Again, I just want to reiterate that this had nothing to do with any carnival festivity. This was away from any one of the carnival activities. And we are asking the assistance from the community who may have seen something to come forward with what we have. We are still interviewing witnesses. We're hoping for a quick closure in this matter. Of course, any other witnesses who would be able to come forward and corroborate what we have would be excellent. So we're asking the community support as usual. And we are getting the community support. So I also want to thank the community for the information they've been giving us here lately, that assisting us in closing a lot of the cases that we have shortly after the incidents occur. Again, Mr. Patrick Smith of Canton Knolls, 22 years of age, did succumb to injuries due to gunshot wounds last evening at the Snyder Regional Medical Center.
In St. Thomas, Lee Carl for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Lee Carl. And in other news, we now know a little more about the deadly rampage that left two women dead, one of whom was pregnant. We now know that something set off 48-year-old Miles David. Even after he was arrested, Miles refused to cooperate and would not even stand still for a mugshot or a picture, if you will. News Channel 8's Wes Small has more.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. We are in Peters Rest, a very sad story to report, where we have two people who were shot and killed on Friday afternoon. You are looking at some file footage that News Channel 8 shot exclusively on Friday afternoon as we got to the scene. We now know the suspect's name. We also know the two deceased women's name. Also speculation that one of the women was pregnant carrying a baby. That could upgrade this homicide to 3. We do now know the name of the suspect. His name is Miles David. Trying to secure his picture for tonight. He is 46 years old, from Peters Rest. That's where we are, by the way, in the state Peters Rest. He is charged with first-degree murder. And right now, before I tell you some other things that we've learned from the family, let's go to Melody Rames, the VIPD spokesperson, with the official word.
Police on St. Croix have released the name of the man arrested in the double homicide that occurred on Friday, April 23rd in Estate Peters Rest. Miles David, 46, of Estate Peters Rest, was arrested about 4 p.m. at the scene. David was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the shooting death of 40-year-old Lorraine Joseph and 19-year-old Alora Tutine, both of estate Clifton Hill. All the victims are related, Davis being the brother of Joseph and the uncle of Tutine. First on the scene of the homicides was a police officer on routine patrol in the area who heard several gunshots and observed 2 females who appeared unresponsive with gunshot wounds to their bodies. The victims were on a private road in a residential district. Police detained the suspect and recovered a weapon at the scene, which they believe may be the murder weapon. Responding to the scene were Police Chief Oakland Venta, Deputy Chief Christopher Howell, Investigation Bureau detectives, forensic unit technicians, and other police officers. Deputy Chief Howell extended his sympathy to the family of the victims, saying words alone are not sufficient comfort for a family who has lost another in such a brutal fashion. He commended the officers for their swift response to the scene, which enabled them to secure evidence and take a person of interest into custody. Deputy Chief Howell said the officers' swift response and containment of the crime scene increases the likelihood that this case will have a quick judicial resolution.
Thank you, Melody. I could tell you that the entire community is upset tonight. Even my cameraman, as he shoots this, we're looking at some pictures, I believe, of the victims. And my cameraman shot those pictures at a wedding. 2 beautiful young black women cut down in the prime of their life involving domestic violence, family feuds. I was in the back there. You're seeing some of the children. And they, of course, they are traumatized, but they're not really feeling it, just not yet, because possibly they don't grasp the situation like the adults who are in the back of the house. They are just devastated. How could this man, known as SWATs in the community, turn on his family like this? I can tell you that a lot of speculation is about the dogs that he was caring for in the back, that the family members simply wanted him to take better care of the dogs, to clean up after his dogs. We also understand that he had an argument with a coworker or some type of employer, and he was demanding some money from Mr. Miles David. They had an argument, and right after that argument, right after that man pulled off, that's when all hell broke loose here in the house. Again, we understand that the family members could have confronted him about the dog, cleaning up the dog, and that's when he just snapped. He went berserk. Apparently, he fired shots into the air before he cornered 40-year-old Lorraine Joseph, and then 19-year-old Alora Tutine, who was inside of the vehicle, we believe pregnant, trying urgently to call 911. We understand that he took that truck that he has back there and he blocked the entrance so that people couldn't get in to help this desperate family. It was at that time that the fatal shots were fired. And again, this family is in just dire straits tonight. They are traumatized, just like a lot of us here at the scene are. It all hits home. Once again, this tragedy hits us hard. We're in Peter's Rest. And I guess if we've learned anything about this case, is that a lot of times we don't know what's going on in people's minds. These are hard times. There's a lot of weapons out in the streets. Before we get into arguments, petty arguments, major arguments, watch yourself out there, because you never know what's on someone's mind. We feel for this family real big tonight. In Peter's Rest, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes Small. And we're still looking for 14-year-old Stephen A. Moore. Here's Virgin Islands Police Department Melody Rames, spokesperson.
Police on St. Croix are seeking the assistance of the community in finding another minor who ran away from home and has not been seen by his parents since Thursday, April 22nd. The runaway minor's name is Stephen A. Moore. He is 14 years old, 5 foot 5 inches tall, 110 pounds, with brown eyes, black braided hair, and a dark complexion. Stephen A. Moore was last seen by his parent in Estate La Grande Princess. Anyone having information on the whereabouts of this runaway minor is asked to call the Juvenile Investigation Bureau at 712-6013 or call 911. You can also call Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS. The public is reminded that anyone found to be harboring or aiding this runaway minor in any way can face criminal charges.